Hello, everyone. I was researching the previous podcast about the troubles in military boot camps, and I stumbled upon a very interesting case. Evidently, there was a young recruit that passed away during training, during the crucible, and a staff sergeant, the senior drill instructor, was referred to a general court martial. And some of the charges that they applied to that drill instructor was negligent homicide, cruelty, maltreatment of subordinates, obstruction of justice, amongst various things. So he went to the trial, and the jury found him not guilty of all charges except for that he called recruits war pigs and sweet bacon. So he was found guilty of that, which is a felony conviction, and reduced in grade from staff sergeant to sergeant. Guilty of one charge, violating a general order which forbids drill instructors from calling recruits names. I get it. Okay, yeah, he was guilty of that because the SOP for recruit training is very strict. But you know what? As a series officer, as a series commander, as a company commander, I'm sure I've also called recruits names, and it just happens in the lexicon. You don't mean anything by it. There's no malicious intent in there. You know, it's so you call, hey, devil dog, come here. Hey, war dog, come here. These are common terms that we use, and there's absolutely no malicious intent in it. Now, was he technically wrong? Yes. And if I, as an officer, heard him say that, I would say, hey, I'd take him aside, staff sergeant, stop, knock it off. But it's handled, in just informal counseling. It doesn't mean you find him guilty for that at a general court martial and then reduce him in rank and destroy his career. Somebody spent 14 years in the Marine Corps. I mean, that's, in my terms, that's just chicken shit. And it should never happen. And it's pretty damn sad that, somebody devotes 14 years of their lives to the Marine Corps, is the best of the best, goes down the drill field, goes through, drill instructor school, does his time as a junior drill instructor, which is pretty damn hard, becomes a senior drill instructor, trusted in the care and training of 60 to 80 recruits, and we get him on because he called somebody a war pig? I mean, you got to be shitting me. So this senior drill instructor, because of this death that happened and subsequent extenuating circumstances, that the recruit may have had a previous heart condition. He evidently died of heat exposure, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and they're out there training during black flag conditions. And consequently, he wandered off, passed out, and unfortunately died. Now, let me tell you something. Any death in training or in combat is serious business because a family loses a loved one. But I can also assure you that no leader gets up in the morning and seeks to have a recruit or a Marine die in training or in combat. I've had Marines die in combat, and it's still, it weighs heavily upon me. And fortunately, I haven't had any Marines, get seriously hurt or killed during training. And that's because of, you try to mitigate risk as much as possible. But nonetheless, so, they're out doing the crucible during the black flag, and the entire Marine Corps, because they're looking for hold somebody responsible, so they go after the senior drill instructor. So they throw the book at him, they slap all these charges on him, put him in general court martial, and fortunately he was acquitted on the negligent homicide charge, which is serious business. But the point being is, drill instructors are best of the best. They're, top 10% across the board of their military occupational specialty. These guys are studs. They don't come any better. And drill instructor school is one of the hardest schools in the Marine Corps. And having, I went to the officer side of it, but I saw what the enlisted side go through to earn their, prestigious, the drill instructor cover. So it's a tough school. And these guys are incredible. But the previous podcast that I told you was the Walter Reed Research Institute, had came up with all the issues that that drill instructors are facing, from insomnia, anxiety, depression, alcohol misuse, burnt out, and all these things, because it's a tough job. It's not for everybody. You really have to be pretty damn motivated to be able to, be a good drill instructor. But no drill instructor gets up in the morning and says, today I am going to have a recruit die. Nobody does that. And let me tell you, as tough as they are, they're also very compassionate. I've seen this with my own eyes. I did 15 cycles out on the drill field, so I've seen this. I've seen all of it. Yeah, they do a lot of barking, but deep down, they genuinely care about their recruits. And I've seen drill instructors cry on graduation day. When they're 50 or 60 recruits or 80 recruits in the big platoons are graduating. They're like fathers. They're seeing their kids move on. And I've seen some of them stay in touch with the Marines. So, but the issue really comes down to is, just think about what the command did. So they slap all these charges, without making sure that, that the investigation was done properly, that all the facts are on the table. They slap the charges on this senior drill instructor. He goes to trial, he's acquitted, and basically destroys his career. He ends up leaving the Marine Corps and becomes a firefighter. But it's not just his career. They're destroying families because these officers, have lost all empathy and compassion and leadership by doing so. So, and what I mean by that is, and I've seen this through my own eyes, on the drill field, you see these junior officers, lieutenants, and, captains, they want to make a name for themselves. So they're out snooping around, looking over walls and stuff, looking over windows to see if they catch a drill instructor doing something that doesn't abide by the SOP. But that's not leadership. That's just snooping around and being a turd, in my opinion. Leadership is leading the drill instructors, supervising them, constantly being on top of them to ensure that they don't do anything stupid. That's what leadership's all about. It's not looking through the window and peeping through and all this nonsense. So what happens is that phenomenon in officers creeps up as they move up in rank. And rather than, waiting for all the facts to come in and see if there is actual misconduct, they threw this staff sergeant in front of a general court-martial and essentially destroyed his career, destroyed his family life, and for what? That young recruit has passed away. That family has lost a loved one. But by doing what they did to the staff sergeant doesn't bring that recruit back. What I'm here to say is, why the hell were they out there during black flag conditions? So if that general is referring him to a general court-martial, hey, stud, how about holding yourself accountable? Why the hell didn't you find out, it doesn't take rocket science to figure it out that it's a hot day, and maybe ask the question, hey, what kind of training is going on today? Should we throttle back or should we just tell everybody, stop in place? So, that's what generals do. So where were you when all this happened? Why wasn't your brain engaged? But you're quick to send somebody to a general court-martial and destroy his life, to safeguard your ass. And that's not leadership at all. That's nonsense. So, I'm going to give out another Bozo Commendation Medal to the commanding general for doing that. You screwed up because you covered yourself because that young recruit died for whatever reason, hard condition, black flag, there's compounded reasons, but you can't pin it on somebody way down the chain of command when we should be responsible. That's really pathetic leadership. And I really feel embarrassed and sad for this drill instructor. And as I'm going through this, this boot camp research, I'm stumbling upon a whole bunch of these stories because this stuff gets out in the media and the news. And the American public understands that stuff happens, accidents happen, things happen. They understand that. But when we try to mishandle them or cover them up or pin them on somebody when it's not their fault, really, that's injustice. And no organization can improve based upon injustice. And what part of leadership is, JJ did tie buckle, is judgment and justice. And you failed in both. So you get the medal. That's all I got. Stay rugged. Con out.